Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Dear David, a movie that was produced by BuzzFeed and is allegedly a horror movie. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 to 12. Yes, the ebook has dropped and is now live. The paperback should be following shortly behind it. Last time they did it within 24 hours. They give you want a little peek? You want a little peek? Oh, look at this cover. Look at that cover. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. All right. But let's get into this trailer. It's called Dear David, produced by BuzzFeed, about a guy who works at BuzzFeed. All right. He is a guy who does cartoons, and he suffers online. Oh, the trolls. The trolls are terrible. And then one night he goes home, and he, I don't know, he goes at a troll, tells him to go die. And then him and his cat post that, and he goes to sleep, and David says, "Why are you so mean?" And it turns out it's Ghost. Inspired by actual events. And then David's haunting him, and then it's an evil ghost that was of a little kid who, I don't know what happened to him. Who knows? I don't trust BuzzFeed. I don't trust anything that's made by BuzzFeed. Does this look good objectively? No. And I'll tell you why. The tone is all wrong. Because what it starts out with is happy, wacky coworkers doing cartoons, dealing with trolls. It's wacky. And then suddenly it turns mean. That's not the way you set up a horror movie. Hate to tell you. That's the wrong way to set it up. You can set it up that way. You've just made more work for yourself, digging yourself out of a happy hole to get to a tone that screams horror. This doesn't scare me at all because your lead is goofing around in the beginning of the movie. Now, if it's going to be a comedy horror, yeah, okay, that works. Because you start with comedy, and then you throw in the horror, and there's still comedy. That's fine. But if you actually want me to take this seriously, and the ghost goes through the internet, yeah, no. No, thanks. It just doesn't work that way. It's a poor setup, in my view. You think just because, I don't know, millennials and Gen Z use the internet, oh, the internet's scary? The internet's not scary. You know why? Because you could turn off your computer. You could turn off your phone. No one can get you over the internet. That's not the scary part of the internet. I mean, I thought this might have been something about internet trolls and how this guy was, I don't know, driven crazy by them or something. Maybe you could have made that work, but just not scary. If you're trying to make this a serious thing. Now, if you're trying to do comedy horror, then why does the trailer, after you get out of the comedy, go into horror and never come back? See, that to me screams that, oh, no, we want you to treat this seriously. I can't, because you undermined the protagonist and the entire concept of the movie by making it light and wacky in the beginning, and you're at BuzzFeed. I wouldn't believe BuzzFeed if they predicted a sunrise. I wouldn't believe BuzzFeed if they predicted BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed should not be in this movie. They carry too much, in my view, political baggage. So yeah, you might get a few hundred hardcore fans of BuzzFeed, I guess, but many more people will go, BuzzFeed? What political? As soon as I saw the sign, BuzzFeed, I was completely distracted. I'm like, why is BuzzFeed in this movie? I guess it's a comedy, and then it turns horror, and I'm like, what? So this is part of the problem with people who've worked on these sites. They have too much money, they've done too little work, and they don't understand optics at all, apparently. You will like it because it's BuzzFeed. It is content. We have content. I don't think so. I don't think people will see it that way. I think they'll go, eh. I think most people will just go, meh, what? Thought I was watching a comedy. Okay, now it's a horror movie. I'm confused. That's going to be sort of the baseline, I think, of reactions. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what they say about. Oh wait, let me do the 3-act breakdown. Okay, first act. He's a wacky guy, a wacky cartoonist that works at BuzzFeed, and he's having a wacky time and he can't take the trolls. And one night he tells a troll off, says that do something horrible to themselves. Goes to bed, and his cat watches. wonders how he ended up with this owner. Act 2, the ghost emerges. First, he doesn't think it's a ghost. It's just a troll or a joke, but it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Finally, in the third act, he has to confront, I think, the ghost's mother, who's also dead, who may or may not have killed him. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a mystery. Maybe there's a big twist at the end. Turns out the kid killed the mom or killed himself. I don't know. But I don't care because you've undermined your protagonist by making him very not serious, and you apparently want to do a serious horror movie. Again, if you wanted to do a comedy horror movie, it should have been, whoa, monster, one-liner, 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 one-liner. That's the way you do comedy horror. All right, let's see what it says. Dear David in theaters on demand and on digital October 13th, starring Augustus Prue and Andrea Bang. After responding to, going viral is a nightmare. After responding to internet troll, a man becomes haunted by the ghost of a dead child named David, based on the viral Twitter thread by BuzzFeed comic artist Adam Ellis. Okay, so this is based after something. You think it was popular enough to make a whole movie about it? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm on the internet all the time. I don't remember hearing about this. But then again, I've been out of BuzzFeed for many years. So, I guess this will be a nostalgic walk down memory lane for some. But again, how many people is that? Twitter is not a reliable gauge for the amount of people who are into something. First, there are a ton of bots. A ton. Especially in the era where BuzzFeed was king, I will say. Second, the people can say something's great or good or whatever for their clout points or whatever people get off of being on Twitter, and then do absolutely nothing. And this happens all the time, all day long. People are not authentic on Twitter. They don't need to be. There's no Twitter police anymore. And so it's not a good gauge on where people will actually buy a ticket, actually rent your movie, actually buy your comic. It's a terrible gauge. YouTube is a better gauge. Places like Rumble. Now Twitter is a little more honest of a gauge, but even still, people can say, oh, yeah. And look, it's not just about the fact that it's BuzzFeed. It's also about the fact that some people feel obligated to give you encouragement, even though they don't really mean it. So I have people all the time that come up to my table and they say, oh, I love your stuff. Oh, it's great. I love it. Oh, you want to buy a book? Yeah, I'm going to get one, but not right now. And then they go and I never see them again. Hey, look, I get it. You feel a little cornered when I ask you that question. And you don't really want to look like a jerk. So people tend to go on the side of, yeah, even though they don't really mean it. But for this, for a movie, I mean, maybe if this is super low budget, but I don't really see the appeal outside of that, other than it's a horror movie. If you had presented it more straightforward and not made it comedic at the beginning, I think you would have been better off. It's usually better that a protagonist in a horror movie have some vulnerability to them. So sometimes they're in a wheelchair. Sometimes they've just lost a loved one and they're already feeling emotionally vulnerable. There's all kinds of ways to set it up, but it's usually you set it up that it's kind of a downer, that they're already sort of down, and now this horrible thing is going to happen to them, and then that makes it even worse. Like, you have a horrible dog that won't shut up during your videos. So this sort of setup would have worked for a horror comedy. Absolutely, 100%. If it's a horror comedy, you cut the trailer wrong. It's just wrong. You got to make it one-liner, one-liner, one-liner. Something funny. It's a mix of funny scares. Otherwise, I think, it'll come out. It'll probably make something. But I wouldn't expect it to do well. Just my 2 cents. And that's it for me, Tony D. And Noisy Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take, I say take it. I will be at the Greenwich Library tonight at 7 p.m. for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil and to promote Book 12, doggy. Book 12. It's coming out. So check out the ebook if you want to see the cover. We'll see you in the next one.